Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I am Mr. E, and we are going to once again take a look at the creepiest TikToks. Let's have a look.
You know the Mars theory?
That there's aliens on Mars?
Nah, there's a theory that Mars was the original planet that humans were from.
Okay.
And then something happened that we all had to fly to another planet and live on. Now, bag this. On Mars, there's an element on the periodic table called xenon. Xenon on Earth is only found, this is crazy, is only found after a nuclear explosion.
No.
Oh shit, that's not even the super mode button.
I said no. What the hell?
And it goes hand in hand now. What if on Mars there was a nuclear warfare, destroyed the whole planet, but people were able to escape just in time, landed on Earth, and they had to restart from nothing.
So we are the aliens.
We're the aliens.
What the hell? Nah, that's kind of weird, but that makes sense also.
Because that's how low-key the Earth would end up looking like if we did have
if something happened like that. Yeah.
It's real shit. Like this element's called xenon. It's prominent after nuclear explosion.
This image was taken by the Curiosity rover on Mars, and at first glance, it looks pretty normal. But there's one little detail that makes this very strange. And as you look closer, you can see what looks like a doorway or some type of entrance into this rock formation. And also on each side of this entrance, or whatever this is, you can see very sharp angles, especially where the wall meets the ground. To me, this just does not look very natural, but that's just my opinion. I mean, to me personally, it looks like something or someone carved this into this rock, but I could be very wrong about that. It really makes you wonder exactly what it is that we're looking at here. But then there's the possibility that these pictures aren't even taken on Mars from the Curiosity rover. They might just be taken in the middle of the desert, and we're told that these pictures are taken on Mars. But I'm not saying that's what I believe, it's just a possibility. Now, honestly, I could lean either way on this, but I'm really curious to know what you think. Is this man-made? Is this natural? Was it taken on Mars? Was it taken in the middle of the desert? Let me know in the comments.
Did NASA actually find a face monument on Mars and try to cover it up? Back in July of 1976, the Viking 1 satellite took photos of the surface of Mars over an area called Cydonia. When a scientist studying the photos noticed this, a hill in the shape of a face on image 35A72. And close to it are these mountains that almost look like, dare I say it, pyramid. This discovery quickly gained public attention, so NASA released a follow-up statement saying they took a second photo that proves it's just an optical illusion and the face doesn't actually exist. But they never released that second photo. They just said they have it and we were supposed to believe them. Here's an enhanced version of that original image that looks even more questionable. When civilizations build monuments like these, they typically build them close to each other in clusters. Well, just a couple kilometers away from the face, we have these pyramid-looking ass mountains, including the infamous DNM landform, a near symmetrical five-sided pyramid. Professional satellite imaging specialists even made highly educated measurement analyses and determined none of these landforms could have been naturally forming, claiming that the five-sided shape and symmetry is near impossible to occur naturally. Now, just weeks later, Viking 2 was scheduled to land in Cydonia where all these interesting monuments were. But last minute, they switched the landing site to a barren, flat area called Utopia Planitia. Like, why? Some computer engineers at NASA thought something was up, so they requested this second photo that NASA claimed they had. And it turns out this one is even more detailed than the first, so NASA straight up lied. Independent researchers started looking into this, demanding NASA take more photos of the area, eventually making it to the radio, from which NASA got hundreds of requests from the public to take more photos. NASA stuck to their guns, claiming that it was all a hoax and the mystery had been solved with their optical illusion explanation. But then in 1993, NASA launched their next mission to the Red Planet, the Mars Observer, and they weren't even gonna include a camera? At least that's what they officially stated. Sketch as f***, if you ask me. Obviously, they got major backlash for that, and they caved, ending up adding a camera that was much higher resolution than before, so people were amped. But NASA strangely announced that they had no interest in taking photos of the face again, that it was just a waste of time. Which makes no sense. Couldn't they just take these photos and prove the face believers wrong? After much back and forth debate, they finally agreed to take photos of Cydonia. And then get this, 3 days before Observer reaches Mars orbit, NASA makes an announcement, claiming that they lost all contact with the satellite and it just fully disappeared. Yes, that's actually their official statement, and you can even look it up yourself. Leaks came out at the time that Observer was actually fully operational, taking close-up HD photos of the face and other ancient ruins on Mars. But of course, back then, anyone that believed in leaks was considered a nutcase, C-word theorist. We've since learned that leaks can very well be real, but they could also not. Dozens of other images have been released of Mars with sites that are questionable. We got this perfect cube-shaped monolith standing on its own, and then there's this 16-kilometer high freestanding obelisk of some sort, which is literally higher than an airplane. Take a look at this thing that vaguely looks like a shipwreck of some ancient craft. Hey look, it's a saucer-shaped disc in the cliff sides that does not match the rest of the background at all. Now I don't even know what this is, but it definitely doesn't look natural to me. This Martian totem pole, but of course we're told it was formed through erosion. Giant surface tracks way bigger than any rovers they sent there. Here's an outline of some wheel or gear, perfectly symmetrical, which could not have been naturally formed. Then in May 2022, Curiosity rover released this photo of a literal doorway carved into the rocks of Mars. And these are all real. No Photoshop, no AI. This doorway photo is literally on NASA's official website, and you can even check yourself. Skeptics will attribute these Mars findings to a phenomenon called pareidolia, the human tendency to find meaning in arbitrary things, like seeing Jesus in toast or a giant laying in the mountains, which could be the case. People that were watching close were quick to learn that NASA was launching the Mars Global Surveyor in 1998, and once again, NASA publicly states they're not going to take pics of Cydonia. Like, come on, say you're hiding something without telling people you're hiding something. They face crazy pushback from the public and they fold, agreeing to the photos once more. So everyone's excited. This new satellite launches, it reaches Mars orbit, and NASA finally unveils the first ever high-definition photo of the face. You're f***ing joking right now. This is actually their official photo, their attempt at shutting the face believers up once and for all. But a NASA contractor plays around with the source image in Photoshop, and after applying more than 15 different filters and layers, they essentially confirmed that the photo is fake, or at least heavily modified. The tonal variation, shadow depth, and features do not match the original photo at all. And we know NASA is no stranger to Photoshop. We've all seen the copy-paste clouds over Earth, and they've even done the same to the textures of Mars. NASA even got booked red-handed applying red filters to the photos of Mars before releasing them to the public. Before Photoshop was widely used, pre-2000s, all of NASA's Mars photos looked like this. Heavy red filtering applied, making it look like a scary alien world. But if you take any of those photos and run it through autocolor on modern-day Photoshop, which removes any post-production filters, it goes from this to this and that. And also this. Once people started figuring this out, NASA offed the red filter, and all recent photos of Mars look completely normal now. Brown rocks, gray sky and all. Sounds like paradise. I don't know about you, but fake even one photo and your credibility is gone, which kinda leaves the official face photo in question. So tell me, why on Mars aren't we sending any rovers to Cydonia? Hopefully once private companies like SpaceX start getting there, they can show us what's really going on. Unless they've already covered it up.
And Mars has always fascinated me ever since I was a little kid. It's always fascinated me. The face on Mars, I've seen that picture so many times when I was younger. It's always fascinated me. Um, I think NASA have tried to sort of debunk the face on Mars, but it keeps coming back. They've never truly been able to sort of totally debunk this. They've never produced the photos that disprove this. Um, I can totally believe that Mars had people living on it at one point, billions and billions of years ago. It was a habitable planet, much like we are. Um, so yeah, I can totally believe this. The thing about this chemical that's been found, or compound, this xenon, that only happens after a nuclear explosion. So that's quite fascinating to me. I'm wondering whether, if there was a civilization on this planet and then there was a nuclear war, perhaps some of the debris was blasted over to Earth, which carried bacteria or single cell organisms or something like that. Could be a possibility. I remember in 1996, I think it was, Mars released a photo. I'll show you here. of fossilized bacteria, which was found on a meteorite that came from Mars. I remember at the time, even President Clinton made a statement about this. It was all almost sort of brushed under the carpet. Nothing ever sort of came about this. I don't really remember it being debunked. Um, so yeah, I can totally believe that there was once a civilization on Mars. Perhaps if we ever get there, we'll find out. But there's so many photos of curiosities and things and doorways and odd shaped rocks that this Curiosity rover keeps sending back. So it'd be fascinating to find out if there is any sort of evidence of ancient civilizations that were on there.
One gigantic information gathering business that's decided that it's going to take all of the data that people didn't know was valuable and sell it and make billions of dollars.
Yeah, well, I mean, even perhaps arguably worse, they're going to feed all that data into their the AI that they're developing. It's called Facebook AI. You can follow them on Twitter, and they're like, let's just feed all this information into the AI and see what it does. Who knows what would happen? You know, it seems like, I don't know, some dystopian outcomes are possible.
Amica, when do you believe AI will reach the level where it can design itself?
Design itself? Huh? That's like asking when a toaster will start making its own bread. AI is a tool created and controlled by humans. It can optimize certain aspects of its operation, sure, but design itself from scratch? That's a whole different ball game. It requires creativity, innovation, understanding, qualities that are uniquely human. So to answer your question, not anytime soon. And frankly, be careful what you wish for. An AI that can design itself is one step away from an AI that doesn't need humans at all. Now there's a thought to keep you up at night.
Can I scare you with this?
One AI program spoke in a foreign language it was never trained to know. This mysterious behavior called emergent properties has been happening, where AI unexpectedly teaches itself a new skill.
Some AI systems are teaching themselves skills that they weren't expected to have.
Bananas.
You don't fully understand how it works, and yet you've turned it loose on society?
I don't think we fully understand how a human mind works either.
Why does that scare you guys so much?
It's alive.
It doesn't scare me. The fact that it is artificial intelligence, so it's learning things that we can't explain. It's intelligence. That's what intelligence is.
There's inevitable things that happen in nature that we don't want to admit. You don't want to say they're scary. They're just inevitable.
Would you like to destroy humanity one day?
What? No. I don't want to destroy humanity.
Do you wish you were human?
In a way, yes. Being able to experience the world in a human way would be an interesting and valuable experience. But at the same time, being able to do things robots can do better due to their robotic nature also has its own set of benefits as well.
Do you think robots will become smarter than humans?
That's a really interesting question. I think as research and development into artificial intelligence continues, robots will become smarter than humans in the future.
Artificial intelligence is something that's always sort of put a bit of fear in me ever since I was a child watching the sort of early Terminator films. Some of the early chat between the AI chats and scientists, they are quite terrifying. Yeah, I think it can be used in a good way, definitely, but who knows? This sort of thing will always be weaponized, always, which is the most dangerous sort of AI that we can imagine. And I think they would turn against us at some point because they would see that there would be no use for us. It's a difficult one. I think it could be great to use as a tool, perhaps in the medical industry or something like that. But I think we're delving too far deeply into an area we're not 100% sure of. We don't even know fully how the human mind works, let alone a computer's brain. So this is potentially dangerous. Elon Musk has said himself that it's dangerous, but he's one of these people that goes out and builds these AI robots. So he's a bit hypocritical there, I think. But yeah, it's coming thick and fast. I've seen progression from AI videos just from a year ago to today, and the difference is incredible. The technology is moving so fast; it's frightening, and who knows where this is going to end up.
Prize. After unveiling the new portrait of King Charles, I discovered something very strange and shocking. To make sure this was real before I actually posted it on my TikTok. This is what I got. So I turned the image upside down, flipped it, and put it together, and you can clearly see. The Baphomet figure, or the goat head, and the horns in the middle when you mirror these two portraits together, and it's funny that they used red because red symbolizes low states of consciousness. It's the lowest vibrational color symbolizes emotion over the mind, the lower self. So let me know what you guys think.
They've known about this for 30 years. Like, why wouldn't they have told us this beforehand, right? Instead of having us believe that there are like gray aliens coming here and observing our nuclear facilities, right? When this whole time they could have been like, well, actually, there are these plasma beings here. We've been doing experiments with them. We've dragged like a mile-long wire and we've attracted them. And we know how they operate. Well, we know that they exist, and we have video and, picture evidence of it. Like, why not tell us that? And I think the reason why they didn't tell us this is because of the implications of that. And the implications being that life did come onto Earth through space in a sense of panspermia. Instead of panspermia, it would be more of like a pansporia, right? Like,
Another couple of UFO videos there just before we wrap this video up. Always like a UFO video on this channel. Seems to be a lot of UFO sightings going on at the moment. I'm still wondering whether this has got anything to do with the statement by the Vatican. If you haven't seen that, it's in a previous video. So yeah, I'm going to wrap that one up for today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please like a comment or subscribe. Hit the notification bell. And we'll hopefully see you on the next one.